Today on the table we have the Walabot. This is an upgrade to a traditional stud sensor. It's advertised as a visual stud finder. See what's inside your walls. It works with your phone. And I bought this. It senses wood, metal, pipes, and wires, and you can also see movements from animals or anything else. It would be nice if it sensed money. You could, if there was money back in the walls, it could just have a big dollar sign come up. That would be nice. But for do-it-yourself projects, for a gift, I think this would be a really nice gift for someone, because it's the type of thing that you just keep on hand and it just keeps giving and giving. Let's see, this opens up in a way. There we go. So download the app. I've actually already done that. Here's the item. I believe it to have an internal battery that you charge. And this is USB-C. So the older ones are the DIY, and this is the DIY 2, and they had another one. I don't know if they all use USB-C. It's possible some of them are an older mini jack. I have no idea. But this is supposed to be upgraded with Wi-Fi and compatibility. And I just decided, especially since I'm doing a review, to just get the best one. It was around $200 with the case. So hopefully the product is good enough that this will be the only case. It won't be a PayPal case. And I don't think it will be. These have a decent reputation already, just in a little bit of time. So I got the nice case to go with it. Guess it just kind of goes in there fancy, like that, and put that on the shelf. It's the type of thing where you don't want to buy it when the purchase time is, but once it's purchased and it's on the shelf, you're glad you did, so I bought it. It may need to be charged, but this is only 50 megabit right here, which is nice if your phone doesn't have a lot of space. It's not real big yet. Maybe it'll download more, but the initial app was just like 54 megabit, and this is the one I have. It's asking me what kind I have. It says it's set it up. Okay. Turn on the Walabot. Hold down the button for 2 seconds. Where's the button? Yeah, it's on the bottom. Okay, there we go. So now it's on. Hold down the button for 2 seconds, then release. Blue light will turn on. Continue. Scan the QR code on the back of the device. Connect. Wi-Fi pairing. So it says Walabot connected. Walabot scans one type of wall, drywall. Place a directly on the wall to calibrate. Walabot will learn about your wall, calibrate on each new wall. So it's a little bit like a stud sensor. Alright, so here we are on a wall. This is going to be a challenging wall for the Walabot because this is actually a brick wall, and I believe it just has lath on it and then the drywall. So, and I don't think it's a full stud, and I don't exactly know what's behind there, but I do know for a fact that there's a stud right here and a stud right here. So I would like to let the Walabot tell me that. It says there's a pipe wire there, but actually first, for every wall, I need to calibrate just like every other type of wall detection tool, go through a couple steps, say, then it says to move it around. It's kind of a timer, but it can also tell if you're doing something. Okay, calibration complete. So there's two settings. There's an images setting and there's an expert setting. So if you put it on expert, you get kind of a display of the sensor and it will tell you things. Now it says it sees wires in this wall or a pipe, which I don't know for sure, but it may be that it's sensing other things. But if you look right here, it will show you a little bit of both. It'll do a little bit of a graph, and also it'll show you what the sensor sees. But then if you put it on images, then it just gives you a representation. So there's the stud right there. Now if I move down, I still get it. But it's not really as good as a full 2x4. I think it's just like a furring strip or something. Did I say lath? I meant furring strip. So it's saying wires and things. And I think just because it's a small piece of wood, it's confusing it a bit. And it's not enough of the material for it to say for sure. But the expert setting I actually like better because it gives you more to go on. So you can see it's getting into a lot right there. I'm saying pipe or wire. There's something there. It says pipe. Objects nearby. Pipe or wire. So this is kind of a challenging wall because it's not built normally like you would see where you have studs. There it says wooden stud right there. Wooden stud center. But if I were to measure over, like say 16 on center from that point, let's do that. Went over and just 16 on center over. I'll just do it this way, please. Just put it on top. 16 on center over would be right about there. So I'm going to be looking for a stud right about there. Oh, there it says it. Wooden stud. It's off a little. There you go. Now it says wooden stud right there. That's right about where I should see it. I don't know if you can see how close that is. I'm kind of in the way, but that's 16 on center, and we're catching another stud. So this wall is challenging though. Okay, so here's a stud sensor, the type someone would give you. This is old. I don't know what the date is. It's probably from the 90s. Something like this, you turn it on. You don't know if you're on a stud yet. That's an issue with this. The Walabot, you go ahead and it takes a range of readings to figure out what 0 is. This one, you gotta just guess that you're on 0, and you go from green to red, just barely into red, just a hair into it, just a hair. There you go. And okay, so it did not sense. Okay, what do I got here? There's a little something right there. Let's see if we can keep getting something here. So it's not really sensing it. You can up the sensitivity by just being very close to the threshold. Okay, so I'm getting a little something right there. So that's about where our Walabot was seeing things. And then we should see another one over here, right about. It's really, these are kind of finicky. Yeah, they're finicky. So I got kind of a long one there. So it's kind of similar, I would say it's about right here. But you could be off just a little bit. So this one's saying pipe or wire. I'm not sure. So with the Walabot coming across, it's telling me pipe and wire quite a bit. There is, and then now here's saying wood stud in the same spot. I can put on expert is nice because you can see when you're getting close to something. And it still gives you a little bit of a visual representation. There's just a wooden stud right there. Wooden stud. So this is a tough wall. I chose this wall because it's not really the right style of wall. This Walabot is actually designed for 2x4 walls, from what I understand. And 2x4 walls with wires in them and pipes in them and wood in them, and that's what it detects. This was a curveball for the Walabot, but it shows that you still get some of the same sensing technology that's in a stud sensor, but it's visual, and it's not just telling you when it goes past a certain threshold and you set the threshold. You get a complete visual, and it gives you a more dynamic understanding of the wall just by looking at what's bouncing back from the sensor. I actually don't know how this works. I don't know if it has a single sensor, multiple sensors. I really don't know. But it's nice to have. It's always been an issue with contracting and looking into walls. And as a homeowner, I think this would be just like the best gift for like a wedding gift or a new home housewarming gift or a birthday for someone who has projects to do. It just seems like right now it's just the best tool for it without going to the military. I'm sure there's a military x-ray that you could see whatever's going on behind the wall. Like I said, the only thing I don't like about it so far is that it doesn't have a money sensing sensor, so that as you go across, maybe someone hid bags of cash in there, that it would just come up and just be like lottery symbol, you know, something. But other than that, for the wall so far, it's been looking pretty good. I'm going to try this other wall really quick. So this project all started with me needing a Walabot because I'm putting up these rock wall climbing holds on this wallpapered wall. And it would be nice actually if I did put plywood up, but I didn't want to do all that. And if I had, I could put them in really strategic areas to where it looks like it's part of the wall. But being that I didn't do that, I'm going to be needing to adhere these to the 2x4s behind the wall that hold the wall up, that are integral with the wall. So those are usually 16 on center, and I need to find those. And then I can install these onto the wall. It has instructions every time. Place it on the wall, start calibration. Calibration complete. So it's saying I have a stud right here. So 16 would be probably about right here. I should be finding another stud. There's another stud. So I can put a rock wall climbing hold right here, and it'll look like it's part of this one. And here, I can put a rock wall climbing hold right here. It'll be on the stud, and it'll look like it's part of this, part of the wallpaper. So this is a more normal styled wall. This doesn't have any stuff in it. There's no, it's not like the front where it was just the furring strips. I'm pretty sure this is a brick wall with furring strips. This is now back on expert settings, And it's saying I have a stud right there. So, you know, it has some of the same feel, honestly. It has some of the same feel as a stud sensor. Just, I think the action of moving it on the wall and having it give you some kind of feedback, it still has that stud sensing, and it does have a little bit of that, what are we really getting this to it? It's not really, when you're using it, it's, on this wall it's been a lot better. But even with the expert settings, it really takes you back to what the stud sensors were originally, which is take it and try to read what it's telling you. And over time, you'll get the idea. It's a composite in your brain. You're like, okay, I'm getting a little something up here, something down here. I'm thinking there's a stud right here, and you start drawing a line down it. But when you're between studs, it like goes completely to nothing. And then when you start getting closer to the stud, it starts saying, hey, we got something, guy. And we're getting there, we're getting there. Nearby, and it says nearby. You keep going slow. Nearby. Where is it? So I might have to recalibrate because I took it off the wall. Well, here's a wooden stud right here. Right there. So that's the images. Okay, for this part of the video now I'm just going to go ahead and sense the wall by this electrical and see what we see. You know, the curiosity about your electrical. When you're putting screws into the wall like I'm going to be, you really want to know where that electrical is because you just don't want to catch it. And you know that's it's a fraction of a percent that it will happen, but that likelihood is still there. So it's just nice to just completely eliminate it. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and start calibration. Okay. So it's telling me there's a stud around here somewhere. This shows here I'm on the right side of the box. Yeah. And here's the wire. So the wire is coming out of the box up to about there. They're saying a wooden stud. I find that it's possible. It's possible this could be a patch in the wall. I have no idea. Okay, so I like the expert setting, to be honest with you. That's saying wooden stud right there. Now it's saying wooden stud there, but I don't see it on expert settings. I don't see that. I see nothing. Now right there, it's telling me wire. Pipe or wire. That's saying stud right there, which I find I don't think that's a stud. It's going between pipe and wire and stud right there. The expert settings, it really lets you see that big red spot that would definitely tell you for sure that you're on a stud. Now that seems like more of a stud to me. Then it was saying stud over here, but that doesn't look like a stud. Maybe it's sensing wood. It's possible this wallpaper is throwing it off, but that's why I like the expert settings so much better, because it's saying wooden stud, but why would it? There's nothing on the sensor. Now it's saying wooden stud. Okay, I'll go with that. And if you take it on down, it's right on this side of the box, which would make sense. Wooden stud. It does leave just a hair of guesswork. I think if you have brand new construction, maybe this would work better. And I do have this wallpaper that may be affecting it. But it leaves a little bit of guesswork. That's saying wooden stud right there. That's where it is too. Definitely, if you go down, boom. So it's a little bit not as straightforward as I was hoping. I was hoping it was just going to be like X-ray. And it's still a stud sensor. It's a stud sensor with a visual additive, and you can kind of do your own assumptions about what it's telling you. And you still end up doing that composite where with a stud sensor you're like, okay, I'm up here, I can see it, and down here, all right, it's a little finicky right here, but I know that studs go straight through. But it is nice to see that this line of electricity is going straight up the stud and it's going to go up to the roof, because then I don't have to worry about it. If it went up and went straight over, I would be able to sense that. So I still see a lot of value in it. $200 is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. It doesn't have a competitor, so you really can't say much. For $200, for no competitor, they could have said $500 and only got it into professionals' hands. At $200, a homeowner can get it, and at $200, if you really want to give an excellent gift, this could really be a really good one for like housewarming or wedding gifts or anything like that. I can see a Walabot would be very helpful to a lot of people. Okay, there is a spot on the wall that's not working out as well, but I believe there's a stud there, and I just wanted to show this area when you have the images setting and you have the expert setting. And this expert setting, it has kind of like a threshold, like a gain level. It's just like a regular stud sensor in that way. So you have a gain setting here. So it was having a hard time, even though I would calibrate it, it was having a little bit of a hard time right here. And there's got to be a stud, because I know there's one here, because it's right by the electrical box, and that holds the electrical box. So I can turn the gain up until I see what I want to see. It goes down to nothing in between the studs, and then it gets loud when you get toward a stud. And that's right about where it is. So I can turn the gain up. That's right over the electrical box. If I look straight down, the electrical box would be there. So 16 on would be about right here. It got real quiet. And right there, you can see it goes from one side to the other. Now I could turn this up a little bit. You see it just hopped it right across. So we're going to measure, because I know that that box is right there. We're going to measure from here to here. Let's see if that's 16. Come on around, my lovely assistant. So that seems like, this actually does seem like it would be more like right there. So that's telling me it's about right. Because if I were to drop a plumb, it goes right down to that electrical box. You can't see it on the video, but the electrical box right there. So I'm thinking that right there is going to be a stud. Right as it jumps across, right there. It says stud right there. It's just for a hair second though, but it says stud. So I'm going to say right there. All right, that's good. So I'm going to mark that. I have this sticker so I can mark it, and then we're going to install our handhold and see if it holds on. All right. There we go, right on the stud. That's on there. There we go. Cool. So it's nice the Walabot has the expert settings, because I don't think I would get as good of use out of it if it didn't have those expert settings. Being able to see that red blotch just kind of come up and go to the other side, you can make your own interpretation. It's nice that it has the graphics and the illustration of what they think is behind the wall. It was definitely right on the money when it came to the electric, when it came to the wire. So maybe there's some way that they're sensing wires. But as far as getting to the stud, as you can see, I just did. And it was a very hard one. This is the one area that we had almost no sensing from the stud sensor. I thought that there was a huge span with no stud. But as you can see, the Walabot was able to get into the wall and give me some information, enough that I found the stud on the first try. So $200, it's up there. I'm not sure how much better this one is than the older ones. I know it has the Wi-Fi capability. This is the DIY 2. So Wi-Fi, it connected with my phone via Wi-Fi. I think the others may have been Bluetooth. I don't know. I didn't do a lot of research on the older ones. But I'm thinking that you could probably get similar performance from some of the older ones. If there's one on eBay or something, and it's a little bit older, just check the specs. But I'm thinking it's going to perform somewhat similarly. But as far as the DIY 2 goes, so far I'm going to find this extremely useful. I know that for sure. I will be using this, and it will satisfy my curiosity. I can see for plumbing in the bathroom. I can see for all kinds of projects, and for missing the electric. I think that's the biggest thing that I like about this the most, is that you can sense the electric wires and know for sure that you're not going to hit them. Because any other time I've used a stud sensor, it's like, okay, I got the stud, but what else am I going to get? Well, if all you got is a stud, that's all you should get. But, you know, they do drill holes in the studs and put wires through the studs. I do have to say I have no affiliation with Walabot, the brand. I am just a person with a 70-year-old house that needed to put some handholds up on my kids' wall. So it's been helpful. I gotta say, I was impressed. It only took 2 days for it to find me, and then it only took that long to find the studs. So I'd say that so far it's doing really well, and I look forward to using it on a lot of different projects. It's one of those, do I really need that type of thing? Couldn't I just get a hand-me-down stud sensor? Yes, you could. Some people even just have a really strong magnet, and they rub it down the wall until they find just the screw heads. And that can work for some folks. So, I mean, there's always a way around it. Some people can just listen and hear it. I'm not that good. You can kind of hear it. So, I mean, there's different ways to do it. But it's just nice to have a tool. It's kind of just a want-to-have, not got-to-have. But if you do it for a living, then that might be a got-to-have. And honestly, as for a gift, that just takes all of that out of the equation, and you have. That's it. So anyway, that's my take on the Walabot. I hope you enjoyed the video. Always remember, you can shop on my eBay store, GB Hatchery. I have all kinds of items I sell on the internet, a lot of used items. Used clothing, shoes, skates, sporting goods, household printers, all kinds of different things. Sometimes video games, especially around Christmas. Always remember my eBay store, GB Hatchery. Other than that, I hope you're safe and healthy, and I will see you in the next video.